I can see.
Good. Yeah, thank you very much. All right. So why did I create my project, www.engineersinaustralia.com? Some of you probably already following me for some time, and you know already why I created this and when I did that, etc. So I created the website engineersinaustralia.com April 2019. It was Easter holiday. It was raining here in Brisbane. I didn't have anything to do. We're not going to travel. We didn't really have plans. It was raining a lot, so I decided to create a website. Simple as that. Nah, I'm joking. I was planning to do this probably since 2011, 2012. And you'll see tomorrow in video number 1 a little bit of my story, why I created this and why didn't I create a little bit earlier. But I created a website to share content of value and information to help you in your journey to make the dream to come true. What dream? The dream to become an engineer here in Australia. I became an engineer in Australia back in 2006, and I would like all of you to become an engineer in Australia as well. My website gives hints for professional accomplishment in Australia. I cover the day-to-day of an engineer in Australia, but at the end of the day, I would like you guys to have a smoother road than mine. That's an expression in English, which means that that I want to make your life easier. When I did my validation process back in 2005, there was no information readily available. Social media wasn't really talking about this at that time in 2005. Facebook probably was very, very beginning. Orkut was the social media at the time, and but not really groups or people talking about the validation process. And so you know me a little bit more. My name is Gerson, and I'm a civil engineer. I graduated back in Brazil in the Federal University of Paraná State in 1994. So probably revealing my age there. I've done many courses, as probably many of us graduated in Brazil we do when we graduate. I've done my MBA in logistics in the Getúlio Vargas Foundation. Here in Australia, I am a chartered professional engineer with Engineers Australia. And I also, in Queensland, I am a registered professional engineer of Queensland in the civil field. I've done some post-graduation courses in Japan, planning and construction, another course in Japan, quality and productivity in the Japan Productivity Center. I've done my graduate certificate in project management in France. No, I don't speak French. We're very lucky that our professor there, he was married to a Brazilian, and he was speaking, or he spoke Portuguese very fluently. Here in Australia, I've done also many courses. I've done my advanced diploma in project management. The next one, Certificate 4 in training and assessment, was really crucial for my validation process because I learned how to understand competencies and how to write and do assessments because I had to assess my students. So I had to understand about competencies. I had to understand how to assess competencies. And that knowledge helped me a lot, very critical, so I could write my career episodes and obviously be successful with Engineers Australia. I've done my Certificate 4 in Workplace Health and Safety Leadership here in Australia. I am, or I used to be, still available and volunteer but I've done many interviews with Engineers Australia in a panel interview, interviewing engineers to become CP-Eng engineers, chartered professional engineers. I recognized my qualification in 2006, and since 2008, I am working for the Queensland Department of Transport and Main Roads, managing around 250 staff in construction and maintenance of transport infrastructure. The department has a commercial business, and I am the operations manager for the Brisbane metropolitan region. So we look after all of those jobs here. And I would like to share with you a very quick audio. I think this is just 30 seconds audio. It's one of my students, and she's also a civil engineer from Brazil. She had a very difficult case in terms of validation of her certificate, of her diploma, but she got it in the end. And as soon as she got her approval from Engineers Australia, she sent me this audio. Fortunately, the audio is in Portuguese. Those ones that don't speak Portuguese, it is subtitled.
Gerson, eles responderam. Eu tô chorando de alegria aqui. Eles aprovaram meu diploma, graças a Deus, minha validação, e aprovaram meus 2 anos de Austrália, mais 6 anos no Brasil. Meu Deus do céu, eu não tô aguentando de felicidade. Ai, meu Deus, obrigada. Eu não tenho nem como te agradecer. Nossa, muito obrigada, Gerson, você não sabe o quanto que você me ajudou. Depois eu vou até escrever um depoimento no Facebook te agradecendo, porque, nossa, muito obrigada, foi muito essencial, obrigada mesmo.
Yeah, so you can imagine how happy I was. I was almost happier than Erica. Erica is the engineer there. And when I get these messages from my students, I've got an online mentoring program. It motivates me to keep going. And I receive messages from many other engineers that they, not my students, but because of my content that I share freely with you guys in my YouTube channel, in these live sessions and everything else in the workshops, they ended up being approved by Engineers Australia as well. I've got more than 180 videos in my YouTube channel, and I've done already 141 live sessions on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So there's a lot of material that I published for free already in my social media, and receiving those messages obviously motivates me to keep going.
Gerson!
So the objective of this validation process, the first, it's difficult to read, but this is the letter that I received back in 2006, 21st of June 2006 from Engineers Australia. And it says that the documentation that I provided and their assessment, after the assessment, they approved my qualification, being recognized as equivalent to a professional civil engineer here in Australia. And there was a magic code at that time. It wasn't ANZ SCO, was just ASCO, Australian Standards Standard Classification of Occupation. Today is ANZ SCO, Australia New Zealand Standard Classification of Occupation. And with that code is the code that I used to apply for my independent skilled migration process, which then I got it in 2008. So ultimately, the objective, pretty much all of you guys, or most of you, is to get this letter of recognition from Engineers Australia. And it doesn't stop there. After a little bit more time, you should seek your Chartered Professional Engineer status, CP-Eng with Engineers Australia, or the RP-Eng with Professionals Australia, which takes you to the next level. First one is the recognition of your validation of your qualification, and then the second stage is to get your Chartered Professional membership. which then Engineers Australia or Professional Australia is telling to the industry, this professional is competent enough to work unsupervised. Until you are a chartered professional or RPH, you're supposed to be supervised because you haven't got your chartered professional status yet. And if you are in Queensland, it's even a little bit tougher because you need to be registered professional engineer of Queensland to the board. Those ones from Brazil is like being registered in the CREA. If you're not registered, it is illegal for you to provide professional engineering services. And to be registered, you need to get your chartered professional engineer status. And I got that this certificate in 2011. Don't remember if it was 2011 or 2009. But yeah, for more than 10 years, I am a chartered professional engineer and a registered professional engineer of Queensland, RPEQ. So these would be the objectives for you guys. And why recognize the engineering qualification in Australia? A lot of people, they ask themselves, or I ask a lot of people, why are you planning to recognize your engineering qualification in Australia? One, to make the dream to come true in working as an engineer in Australia. When I arrived in Australia back in 2005, I arrived as an international student. I was studying Diploma of Business. My wife, she was studying English. And if most of the international students, what do you do after you finish school? You find some work. And my wife and myself, we were working as cleaners. She was cleaning floors and I was cleaning toilets. And nothing wrong with that. It's a job like any other job. So I had my 28 toilets. Those ones here in Brisbane, they probably know the Suncorp building, the one in front of the City Hall with the very big clock at the top. I was cleaning the toilets from level 7 to the ground floor. 4 toilets per floor, 28 toilets, 4 hours a day, from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. Nothing wrong with that. I did that for almost 1 year. And but I studied a lot, probably like you guys did. I ended up doing 6 years, not 5. I ended up getting some DP and also because I was doing some internship. So I ended up taking 1 year extra and I don't regret that. But I studied a lot. I did my graduation, my bachelor degree. I've done my MBA. I've done many graduate diplomas and certificates. So working as a cleaner was paying our bills and helping us to know Australia, etc. But I was looking at I'm a civil engineer, looking at the construction sites and all the things that I did back in Brazil and the things that I could do here in Australia working as an engineer. So yes, I decided it is my dream to work as an engineer here in Australia. Work as an engineer validating my qualification can allow me to work as an engineer legally and also can make me eligible to apply for a permanent visa, which we need here at least a working visa. It could be a temporary visa or permanent visa, but I wanted a permanent visa. After you get permanent visa, you can get your citizenship and then get your Australian passport as well. So we decided that we wanted the Australian passport. But to get the Australian passport, we needed to get our permanent visa. To get the permanent visa under the skilled migration, we needed at that time to validate the qualification. Also because, as I said, I could contribute to the engineering profession. And those pictures are just some of the pictures of the work that we've done here. Pavement works, we do a lot of structures rehabilitation works. And we also, in this picture here, you can see it's electrical works. We do also electrical works because if you think about the transport network infrastructure, it's everything between fence to fence. You got traffic signals, street lighting, roads, bridges, culverts, tunnels, median strips, maintenance, construction, rehabilitation. You've got all sort of things. And you can imagine with this rain here in Brisbane, we were very, very busy to keep the network running. Also, for professional and personal development, once you are in the process of validating your qualification, you're probably studying a little bit more about your engineering field. You are also reading technical specifications. You're making yourself familiar with the technical terminology in your profession as well. And obviously, the opportunity to migrate to Australia once you get your qualification validated, it opens many doors for you to apply for different types of visa. I'm not a registered professional, registered migration agent, so I can't really give you migration advice, but you are able to consult with registered migration agents and then make a plan for your migration process. But if you don't have your qualification validated, you probably still have few options, but it's not as many options if you do have your qualification validated. And then the beginning of a family transformation. The background there is my wife. We travel to Bali. Once we become permanent residents, and we can come back to Australia anytime. Even with this pandemic, you could see that citizens and permanent residents, they could come back here, while many other people they couldn't. And a big reason for me was to offer better conditions to grow my daughter up and look after my family much better. I come from Brazil. As much as I love my country, it was very difficult to live there with all those safety concerns and crimes and etc. And because we had very good jobs and we were successful in our careers, we ourselves had to be like in a prison inside our apartment unit, because you don't really have that freedom to go anywhere, everywhere, without having the concern that somebody can come and maybe kidnap you or steal your mobile phone, or having those issues that obviously here in Australia you still have it, but it's much less frequent. So that picture was a New Year's Eve a few years ago on the Gold Coast that we stayed there, we saw the fireworks, and then we went back walking to our hotel on the beach, about 3 or 4 kilometers. In some places were really dark. If it was in Brazil, I'm pretty sure that we wouldn't really do that because of the fear of few things. But here we went walking, didn't have any concerns. And for those that are living here in Australia for some time already, you will know what I'm talking about. So, our workshop. For those ones that attended the pre-workshop warm-up session on Friday, and thank you very much, guys, for those that attended. I think I showed you guys the workshop website. I'm going to show you again. Just see if I can change the screen. I just need to find where it is. Yeah, that's the one. So that is the workshop hub. The website is angqualvalworkshop.com. And in this website, you will find everything about the workshop. If you're not registered yet, you can click here perhaps you are in the Telegram group and you are not registered to the workshop. So if you want to still register to the workshop, you just need to click in there, and then it will open up the registration page, and you just need to put your email address and your name, tick some boxes if it's relevant to you, and just register. So if I do myself, I'm Brazilian, I'm living in Australia, and register, doesn't take more than 10 seconds for you to do. And that's it. You 98% confirmed. There's a couple of videos there, one in Portuguese, another one in English, just talking about emails, that sometimes emails, they don't come to you, or they go straight to junk mail, and the information that I'm sending about the workshop goes via email. So that's why it's very important to make sure that you are getting my emails. This morning, for example, I sent an email 9 a.m. It arrived probably 9:15. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. But if you didn't receive any email from me today, it's because probably it's going to the junk mail. So I strongly suggest you, if it's going to the junk mail box, to save my name and email address in your contacts so you get my emails. Tomorrow I'm sending an email with the link of the video number 1. So it's very important for you to make sure that you are getting my emails. And also you can join the WhatsApp group. When you click on that one there, obviously that is in the desktop, but if you are on the mobile, it will open up your WhatsApp, and then you can join our group. I'm going to send the links to the videos there as well. So I'm going to send the videos in this Telegram group, in the WhatsApp group, in the emails, and also I'm going to put in my social media, Facebook and Instagram. So just to make sure that you're not going to miss out the videos. And I'm going to talk about the videos very soon. So going back to the workshop content, today is the opening webinar. Tonight I'm going to have my weekly live session. Just because I'm doing the workshop, it's not going to be different. It's a commitment that I have with you. It's going to be session 141 tonight, and I will have a guest as well. Tonight I invited a NATI certified translator. Her name is Mara Reifman. So she's also Brazilian, and she does a lot of the translations for obviously migration process as well. So she will talk to us everything about translation. How much does it cost? What do you need to translate? What you don't need to translate? How long does it take? Those sort of questions. And you're open to ask questions to her as well. And then that will take probably between 15-20 minutes. And after that, I will talk about some of the biggest fears that engineers they face during the application of the qualification validation process. A lot of fears that engineers may have that prevent engineers to keep going with the validation process. I'm going to talk about them tonight as well. And then tomorrow, video number 1, I'm going to talk about the opportunity for life transformation. I'm going to talk about a little bit of my story as well. And also, I'm going to talk about the 6 steps for the CDR process. CDR is one of the pathways that overseas engineers they have. And there are 6 steps for the validation, and I'm going to talk about those 6 steps tomorrow. And then that's Monday, 9 a.m. here in Brisbane. In Brazil would be Sunday, 8 p.m. And then on Wednesday, 9 a.m. here, Wednesday, Tuesday, 8 p.m. in Brazil, I will release video number 2, which I will talk about the top 7 questions and the top 7 mistakes that most engineers they do during the validation process. And also I'm going to talk about the CPD, the Continuing Professional Development, which is one step of the validation process. And also I'm going to talk about what if you are or were an owner of an engineering company, or if you were self-employed, autonomous. I'm going to talk about in the video number 2. And those videos, they're very dense. I will just give you a heads up that video number 1 has 25 minutes. Video number 2 has 35 minutes. And video number 3, it has another 25 minutes. So 25, 50 plus 35, 85 minutes. So almost 1 hour and a half of videos of a lot of content. Because I need you to watch all the 3 videos. So, because I'm promising you, I will teach everything you need to know to start your validation process. If you don't watch the videos, then obviously I cannot teach you if you don't watch the videos. And I know that nowadays with TikTok and stories and etc., the videos are very short. They're 15 seconds, 30 seconds. We don't really have a lot of patience to watch a 25-minute video, a 30-minute video. And obviously, because the videos are in my platform, I can see what's the average time that people watch the videos. And it's not many people that watch everything. A lot of people, they watch 5 minutes and they stop. And there's nothing wrong with it because it's up to you. I'm already validated. I'm here to share my knowledge with you. If you just watch 5 minutes, obviously you're not going to get all the knowledge. And then, is it my problem? Obviously not. It's your problem. So it just tells you that you don't want to become an engineer in Australia. And, you know, it's your choice. I'm not here to force you to become an engineer in Australia. I'm here to help those ones that are really committed and they want to become an engineer in Australia. And then on Thursday evening here, 8:30 p.m. in Brisbane, is going to be 7:30 a.m. in Brazil on Thursday. I will have a very special guest in my Instagram live session. Some of you probably came because of her. I'm having Marcia Percival as a guest in my live Instagram, and she's going to talk about your journey to Australia. So it will be an unmissable event that she's going to talk to us. Obviously, what you need to do to become a migrant to Australia. So she's one of the biggest authorities here about Australia, and I'm very pleased that she's accepted my invitation to come here and share her knowledge and her information with us here. So after she talks about your journey to Australia, I will then answer some questions. I'm receiving still a lot of questions. I'll have some question and answers session. And also on that night, I'm going to give away 15 minutes of free consulting as well. So stay tuned on the Thursday live Instagram because I'm going to give away 15 minutes of free consulting to be done in 2 weeks' time. Not next week, but the week after. But this Thursday, I'm going to give away 15 minutes of free consulting for this coming Thursday. And what you need to do, I'm going to be posting a few things on my Instagram, and there will be a couple of questions about video number 1, and there will be a couple of questions about the video number 2, because obviously Monday and Wednesday, the live session is on Thursday. And then if you answered correctly the questions in the Instagram post, I will do a draw, a sorteio, and for amongst those people that they got the answers right, of course. So you need to watch the videos and you need to follow me on Instagram and answer the questions in the comments. And then On the night, I will do a draw live, and if the person is watching the live session, we will share the screen, and that person can then ask me questions. That person can explain his or her situation, and we'll have 15 minutes on the spot where I'm going to provide information about that particular subject. So stay tuned in my Instagram. For those ones in the WhatsApp group, I will remind you guys there. For those ones, obviously you guys here in Telegram, I will put in the Telegram as well. And then video number 3, on Friday, I'm going to talk about the career episodes, the summary statement, and the revision process of Engineers Australia if you are not successful in your application. And very importantly, I'm going to talk about the risks of plagiarism. Plagiarism is very serious, guys. And unfortunately, there are some unethical people and unethical companies that they actually offer to write everything to you. And if you read carefully the booklet says that the CDR writers, they are, if you engage a CDR writer, it's unethical behavior, and Engineers Australia will catch you. Even though the CDR writers, they promise you a plagiarism-free report and everything else, but I get so many messages from so many people saying that they engaged those companies, Engineers Australia caught them because it was plagiarism, and they wanted some help. And unfortunately, once you get caught by plagiarism, you can do some revision, but it's very, very difficult. So that's why I teach you guys how to write your reports yourself. I teach about the competencies, I teach the best way that you can write, but you do everything yourself. You don't need to rely on CDR writers that will you will be caught. So Engineers Australia, they have very advanced plagiarism detection software, and you will get caught, even though they promise you that you're not going to get caught, but it's unethical behavior. So if you want to become an Engineers Australia, don't start with the wrong foot. Obviously, you all adults, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm here just to alert the risks, because if you get caught, Engineers Australia will probably going to ban you up to 3 years, which means that for 3 years, you're not going to be able to apply for a validation process again. And if you want to stay in Australia, you have to still doing courses, etc., etc. You're not going to be able to advance with your migration process, and you will have a bad record with Engineers Australia as well. So just be careful with that. And then on the 13th of March, Sunday, next Sunday, we'll do the closing webinar, a webinar similar like this, where I will review the whole validation process, and also I'm going to talk about the next steps for you to become an engineer in Australia. Many people already asked if I'm going to open a new mentoring group, and the answer is yes, I will. A lot of people asked me, they wanted to become an engineer very quickly, save time, having a structured method. So I decided that I'm going to open a new group. My last mentoring group was back in December. I don't open all the time, but I will open on the 13th, and you should attend the webinar if you really want to become an engineer in Australia. I'm going to give a very special offer on the 13th. But if you watch my workshop, if you read the booklet, if you watch my videos, almost 180 videos in my YouTube channel, you don't need to be part of my mentoring. You can do it yourself. I did myself. You can do it yourself. Some people, they need a little bit of help. And those people that they don't know how to write, the people that don't understand about competencies, they read the booklet, but they couldn't understand very well. They're not very comfortable to do everything without understanding or learning better what is a competencies and what examples you can use for each competency. Then obviously I'm very happy to help if you are part of my mentoring group. I've got already 19 students that they applied, and all of the 19 students been approved in all sorts of engineering, civil engineering, mechanical, environmental, mining, electrical, electronics, telecommunication, production, industrial, all sorts of engineering. All right. And then you could be asking yourself, oh, Gerson, what are those icons here on your website that they all grayed out? So obviously, because today is the first day of the workshop, all the videos are locked. This is the opening webinar. It's locked because we're doing now. After this, I'm going to edit the video, and then you will see that it will be unlocked. You can watch the replay. If people couldn't participate in the webinar, or if you want to watch the replay, you will be able to click in here when it's activated, and then you'll be able to watch the replay. Tomorrow morning, this icon will be unlocked as well, because then you will be able to watch the video from here as well, and so on. So Wednesday, this one will be activated. Friday, this will be activated. And then on Sunday, the closing webinar will be activated. So if you are not in the WhatsApp group, and thank you very much for those ones that joined the WhatsApp group and participating in the quizzes and questions and answers that I sent to you guys. Thank you very much. And here you can also do put your questions and answers. It's very important. If you have a question or if you have a comment about the workshop, if you like in the workshop, and if you want to leave a message here, if you have a question about the workshop or a question about the videos, please write in here. The only thing is that that's the Telegram icon. You will need to log in into your Telegram account so you can post your comments. And if you want to send me a top question, you can click in this icon that I put in the comments. It will open up the Survey Monkey. And the Survey Monkey, very simple, is just one question. What is your top question about engineering qualification validation in Australia? Those ones in WhatsApp, most of you guys probably already answered. I got many answers already, and I will be answering those during the workshop in the live sessions. And finally, here you can watch some of the testimonies from my students. I've got just 4 here, but I've got many more, but I'm not going to put all the 19 here. Perhaps one day I will, but I've interviewed them, so they explained about their journey, their difficulties, and what was the benefit in doing my mentoring program as well. So Erica, she's a civil engineer. Walter, he's an environmental engineer, and Layla, she's a civil engineer as well. Okay, so I'll go back to the PowerPoint, explain in very detail how the workshop is going to work. Do you guys have any question about how the workshop is going to work? Can I keep going with the PowerPoint there?
Okay, till now.
Yeah, thanks, Luis.
You can go on.
Okay, good. Thank you. So now I think you guys can see the PowerPoint there. So that's the calendar that I spoke about. And now I'm going to talk about one of the biggest blockages and worst enemy in your validation journey. A lot of people think, oh, I'm not a good writer, or maybe my English is not good, or it's not good enough, or reading the booklet, I can't understand too much. People think that that could be the worst enemy. But I can tell you, your worst enemy is your procrastination. And you will see. First of all, how many people are we here today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we 10 people here. I can tell you, a lot of people already procrastinated, and obviously they're not here. I think I had about 250 registered people to attend the workshop. 250. 200 people, 250 people went to the registration page, put their name, email address. They went there, they joined WhatsApp, but they're not here. And why are they not here? Maybe because they're not interested. They don't want to become an engineer in Australia. Maybe they're still procrastinating. Oh yeah, should I attend? Shouldn't I attend? Etc. And it will be very sad to see that not all of you will be here in the closing webinar. And why do I say that? Because that's what happens. A lot of people start and not many people finish. And why is that? Because people procrastinate. Or sometimes there may be some curious people here. They're not really interested to become an engineer now, but they're curious to know about the process. And there's nothing wrong with that. I will be here in my next workshop. I will be here in the next week talking about validation process. If you're not ready today, it's not a problem. If you're ready next year, I hope that I will still be here talking about the validation process, and then I will be able to help you. But people will procrastinate. Some of my students procrastinate because I give all the tools. I've got an online training in my mentoring program, 25 modules, where I explain step by step what you need to do, how you need to write, and everything else so you can finish your validation process. I've got very good students. One of them, she did in 2.5 weeks. But I've got few ones that they entered the first group 2.5 years ago, and they're still there because they probably still procrastinating. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. Every people will know their own priorities. But I do hope that those ones that I see today, and I was going to ask you guys if you guys could turn on your camera, because I want to do a screenshot, and I want to put in my Instagram post that these will be the future engineers here in Australia. And I think you should be very proud to be here, because that is your first step to become an engineer in Australia. So you guys willing to turn on your camera so I can do a screenshot of all of us? Yes, no?
Yes.
Maybe? Good. So what I'll do, how can I stop sharing? And so you guys will be in the big screen here. I've got Richard, I've got Lucas, I've got Anna. We'll see who else is willing to be famous in my Instagram post. Anybody else? So I've got yes, I will. Okay, so I will do a screenshot soon. So we've got those people on the sidebar and those people in the camera. I've got a few more people. Yes, yeah, I can understand. If you're wearing your pajamas, you had to put some some clothes. Yeah, I do understand that. I do that all the time, especially when I'm working from home. Yeah, but then
Sunday morning.
Yes, and then we joke that I'm not going to turn on my camera because it slows down the network. So you keep the camera turned on. All right, just going to find where I'm going to save this. Webinar opening. All right. Okay, so I've got she, Luis, Anna, Lucas, and Richard in the camera. So I'll count 2, 3, and then 3, 2, 1, and then you smile. And you do it like that, do the sign. 3, 2, 1. Yay. All right. So I'll see if I captured that. No, I didn't capture. Oh, I did. Yes, I did. Anna, you were sleeping. So we'll capture again.
Always.
So 3,
Okay.
2, 1, smile. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, no, I think I repeated the picture because I'm still sleeping. So 3, 2, 1.
Maybe not. It's always happening with me. I don't know.
That's okay. We'll try again. We'll see now. Yes, everybody is waking up. Good. So we'll save that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So I will put the PowerPoint back again. Yeah, good. So thanks for that. So are you a procrastinator? Do you want to put in the comments yes or no? Or if you say yes or no, I will tell you my status. Yes, I am a procrastinator. I can tell you that I'm a very good procrastinator. What about you guys? You guys procrastinators? Perhaps you're procrastinating to answer? Yeah, those ones on Instagram.
I started this last year.
You started last year.
Yeah.
So did you start procrastinating last year, or did you start the process last year?
Yeah. Yeah, I started the process.
Okay.
I undertook a PT exam, and now I'm working on my career episodes.
All right. So you got your PT minimum scores?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's good. Congratulations. Yes, but procrastination, yeah, certainly.
Difficult to work sometimes.
It is difficult, yeah, and
yeah. So, and besides, when you start to do something that sometimes that you perhaps you don't really like a lot, and you start to find excuse.
Yes,
to start.
That is a classic. And I did some research. You know, I'm here not just talking about from my mind, but I did some research, and I found out a few things about procrastination. So, and I'm going to tell you why I was stuck. Yeah, those ones don't know the word stuck. Stuck is when you don't go anywhere. You don't go forwards, you don't go backwards, you're just frozen. You don't move. So why was I stuck in the beginning, back in 2005? Maybe because I wasn't sure about the process. Maybe because I didn't read the booklet with attention. What booklet? Migration Skills Assessment booklet from Engineers Australia. That is your new Bible now. You need to read that booklet many times. Maybe I wasn't sure how to choose the right experiences for my career episodes. Because if you don't choose the experiences, then you cannot start writing your career episodes, because your career episodes needs to be based on your experiences. Maybe I didn't know how to address the competencies. I was reading the booklet, I was reading the competencies, but I didn't know how to address those competencies. Maybe I was not confident with my English level, even though I did my IELTS just a few months after I arrived in Australia, and because I studied English in Brazil, I lived in Japan, I was working in a company where English was the language. I got a very good scores in my English. I got overall, I think it was 7.5 overall. And I got few 8s. So my English was good, but maybe I was still not confident to write in English. Maybe because I was working and studying, and I didn't really have time to dedicate to my CDR, my competency demonstration report. I was studying, and at that time, when you study, you had to study, go to school every day. And then I was working 20 hours a week, and maybe I didn't have time. Or maybe I was busy doing sightseeing and doing short trips. At the end of the day, Australia was a new place for me, for my wife. So in our free time, we're going to visit places. I was not writing career episodes in my free time. But in the end, the real reason was that I'm a very good procrastinator. I called myself a professional procrastinator. If you want to learn how to procrastinate, just ask me. I'll teach you very well. Even today. So what's procrastination? So from the websites, Google, whatever, procrastination is a mechanism for coping with the anxiety associated with starting or completing any task or decision. Or in simple words, putting things off. Leave to tomorrow. Don't need to do today. You've got plenty of time. Those sort of things. And the procrastinator statement, if you're a good procrastinator, you think like this and you say that, why do it today if we can always do it tomorrow? And there are many, many types of procrastinator. And I selected here 4, which are probably one of the most common types of procrastinators. The first one, the anxious procrastinator. The fun procrastinator. The plenty of time procrastinator. And the perfectionist procrastinator. So the anxious one, the anxious procrastinator, people who procrastinate a lot are usually bad at managing their time and often end up scheduling in more work that they can actually do, leaving no time for fun activities or resting. So you ended up getting, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do the other things. You don't know how to say no. And you ended up getting a lot of things to do. The result is you don't finish anything. And then because you are so busy with many, many things, you don't really have time to have fun, to relax. You become stressed out. And another reason for you not to finish, sometimes even start anything. The fun procrastinator. The fun procrastinator would rather be doing anything except that one dreaded task. Dreaded task is that horrible task, And after all, there's so many fun and exciting things you could be doing instead. How can you bear to start that boring project? And unfortunately, I have to tell you, the validation process is not an exciting project for you to do. It's boring. Why is that? Because you gotta read a lot, you need to write a lot, you need to think a lot. Maybe some of you guys like to do that, but majority of us probably we don't, especially if we have options. We have the option to write the report, and we have the option to go to the beach. Wow, that's a very, for me, it's very easy decision. I'll go to the beach. You have the option to write the report or go to a friend's house because there will be a barbecue there. You know, I'm Brazilian. I love barbecue. Barbecue, beer, you know, music, fun. Yeah. And staying home and writing the report. I don't know. It's very difficult to stay home. But that is the fun procrastinator. You will always say, well, you know, this friend is coming from Sydney here to Brisbane. There will be a barbecue to meet this person. I can do the report tomorrow. I can do the report next week. So I'll go to the barbecue. And then next week, you'll find another excuse because somebody or whatever invited you to do something, or your guy or your friends are going out to have, you know, a night out, and then I can do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow there will be another thing, and then you'll never do. So that is the fun procrastinator. The plenty of time procrastinator. This is where people find it very difficult to start a project when they know the deadline is a long way off. This type of procrastination is clearly visible in students who often struggle to start an essay earlier than a few days before the deadline. And a good example of this is, let's say I had students that because of the visa, they had to get their qualification validated. And they said to me, Gerson, you know, I procrastinated a lot. I should have started this 2 years ago when I got my graduate visa. But now the graduate visa is ending. I need to validate so I can apply to another visa and get a bridging, etc. I just have 1 month or 2 weeks, whatever. So they had 2 years. They knew that they had 2 years to start the process. But they ended up not doing that, because they knew that they had a lot of time. And they had a lot of time. Tomorrow I'll do it. Tomorrow I'll do it. Tomorrow I'll do it. And in the end, some never do it. Others, they will have a very short period of time to do it. When I was a student at uni, how many times I didn't sleep a day or two before my exams, or when I had to finish an assignment, because I procrastinated a lot. And one night before the exam, there's no time left. I had to stay up the whole night, study, and do my exams. So it happens quite frequently. And then there's a perfectionist procrastinator. Perfectionists, as all, are always striving for the best, and as such are constantly criticizing their own work. For some perfectionists, the fear of failing or producing work to a low standard can be so overwhelming that they never actually get around to starting anything. And there's a saying that the excellent is enemy of good, which means that you're seeking perfection, that you don't start before you're perfect. And this can happen in the validation process. You can start saying, all right, I'll start my validation process when I get all my letters from my reference, my former employers, for example. I will start my validation process when my English is really, really good. My English, when I get 8 in IELTS in all bands, I will start my validation process. When I collect all the documents that I needed, I will start my validation process. And then it's going to take some time until you achieve those things. and then you're not going to start. You will probably lose a lot of time when you actually could have started before. But it's not just bad news. I put here some strategies for you to overcome procrastination. And every time that I catch myself procrastinating, I try to implement those techniques because, as I said, I'm a professional procrastinator. And as a professional procrastinator, I need to implement techniques to overcome my procrastination. If I don't, I will just keep procrastinating. So, going from one to one, prioritize your time. If we say that we don't have time, we say, I don't have time, I'm studying a lot, I'm working a lot, I've got this trip this weekend, I've got this book that I'm reading, etc., etc. So the bad news is it's not that you don't have time. Everybody has the same amount of time, 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. It is a matter of priority. It means that if you don't have time to do your validation process, it means that there are other things that are more important than the validation process to you. Because we can always wake up 1 hour earlier. We can always go to bed 1 hour later. We may not check Facebook or Instagram every time the notification bell rings. We could share perhaps less funny videos in WhatsApp, or even watch maybe not many TVs or Netflix series. Because sometimes you're watching those Netflix series, you binge watch, you watch from season 1, episode 1, until season 5, episode 18, and you stay there like 10 hours. So if you don't do that, perhaps you can do your validation process. So you need to prioritize your competency demonstration report. But if you don't, yeah, that's fine, because it's your priority. You know what is your priority. Sometimes we think and we say that we don't have money. If money is a problem, if money is your objection, because it costs money to validate your qualification. You have to pay Engineers Australia, you have to pay your English test, you have to pay your translation. If you want, for example, my mentoring program, you need to pay an investment as well. So, but again, it's a matter of priority. A good exercise is to list 50 ways you can make or save some money. Oh yeah, Gerson, list 50 things is too difficult. You're already procrastinating. You're already making an excuse to that. But if you're saying that you don't have money, start doing a list of 50 things. Perhaps I've got this mouse here. That's a mouse. I don't need that mouse because I've got this other one. So maybe I can sell this one in Facebook Marketplace. So one way is to sell. I can make probably $30 in this one. It's Bluetooth and everything else. Costs $100 in the shop. I can sell for $30. So that's $30. I can sell many things in Facebook Marketplace. I can maybe, instead of going out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and spending, let's say, $250 going out with dinner and beer and etc., maybe I'll just go on Friday, and then I spend $50 or $70. So I can save $180 per weekend. Maybe next week is going to have the Carnival party. All right, I love Carnival. The ticket is this much here. If you want to go, you want to go. But then don't complain that you don't have the, I don't know how much is ticket, $50, whatever. that you're short of $50 because you chose to go there. Maybe going to a trip. Oh yeah, now that COVID is easing up, the borders are open, I'm going to Bali. Yeah, Bali is not expensive, but it's about $300 for the flight ticket, and then hotel or backpacker, and then food, and then day trips, etc. You spend about $1,500, for example. If you don't go there, you save yourself $1,500. Yeah, Gerson, but I deserve to go there. I worked a lot, I studied a lot, I deserve to have this trip. Yeah, of course you do. But if you're saying that you don't have money, then it's not fair to you saying that you don't have money. It's just not a priority now to do your validation. So validation needs dedication and sacrifice. If you are not willing to dedicate, put effort, and sacrifice a lot of things, don't even start the process because you're going to get frustrated. You're going to start, you're going to stop, you're going to start, you're going to stop, and then in the end, you may even give up. So if you are determined to start, now it's the time. Start, go forward, full steam ahead, and just do it, because you will be able to do it. But if you're not quite ready yet, wait a little bit. Don't start now, because it's important that when you start and you finish in just one shot. I'm not saying that you're going to do it in 1 week. You can do it in 6 months, 1 year, but go steady. Put your plan, make your plan. I'm going to do this. After this, I'm going to do that. After that, I'm going to do this one. In 1 year, I will finish. Or in 2 months, I will finish. I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. As long as you put your plan and you keep going, then it's a good idea to start. And that's the next strategy, put together an action plan. So your CDR, your competency demonstration report, put together an action plan for this CDR. List the tasks that you have to complete. Establish deadlines. Does it look like a project? Yes, the CDR can be a very complex project with several tasks, several deadlines, people that you have to work with to do it. Obviously, for example, if you got to get your reference letter, you can do it yourself. You got to ask your company. You got to ask somebody in the HR to give you that reference letter. If you need to contact the university to get a reference letter, for example, if you need one, you need to find out who's the coordinator, the course coordinator. You got to talk to them, maybe send them an email. Perhaps you need to draft a letter so they can do that. If you need to find a translator, you got to search who could be a translator good enough with engineering documents, etc. How much do they charge? How long do they take to translate? So it is a lot of things that you need to do. But luckily, you guys, all engineers, great project managers, and you'll be able to manage this project very successfully. And this is a very important strategy. Establish short-term goals. Let's say that dreaded task is that horrible task. Let's say that the dreaded task is your CDR, your competency demonstration report. If that is looking too big to accomplish, because the CDR, you gotta do the English test, and you gotta get a resume ready, you gotta translate all your documents, you gotta write the CPD, write the career episodes, write the summary statement, and everything else. It's too big. Or even the career episode. Career episode is between 1,000 and 2,500 words. Let's say that you're going to write 2,000 words. Oh, 2,000 words. How many pages are those? I don't know. It could be 8, 10 pages. No, I'm not going to write 10 pages. But don't think about the 10 pages. Think about a short-term goal. let's say that this week you're going to write the introduction. The introduction is very simple, about 100 words. So today you write introduction. You look at the booklet, you see what you need to write in the introduction, and then you write introduction. Great. You tick in your plan that the plan is for today to write introduction, and you complete that. Tick. Every time that you tick, it's a mission accomplished. And what message does that send to your brain? It sends that you finished that task. It releases endorphins, which will then make you excited and motivated for the next task. Next task is to write 2 paragraphs of the background. The background's a little bit longer, 500 words. So you're going to write 2 paragraphs of the background. You read the booklet, you understand what needs to be in the background, and then you write 2 paragraphs. So that's tomorrow. In your plan, tomorrow is to write 2 paragraphs. Tomorrow comes, you wake up, do your things, etc. Now I'm going to write 2 paragraphs of my background, and that's it. So you write the 2 backgrounds, etc., etc. You write there about 150, 200 words. You finish 2 paragraphs, and then you stop. That's it. You accomplished the next mission. Message goes to the brain again. Mission accomplished, endorphins released, you get motivated to the next task. And then you do like that. Try to establish what's the size of your task that you will be able to complete. Don't put yourself, no, I'm going to push myself and I'm going to write 1,000 words tomorrow because I need to be pushed. But then you establish 1,000 words and then you don't finish 1,000 words. What message does that send to your brain? Oh, you failed. You didn't accomplish that mission. And instead of releasing endorphins, you will be demotivated. Your motivation is not going to be there because tomorrow you got to think, oh, I need to finish that 1,000 words that I established and I failed the other day and maybe I will fail next time. So it's not a good idea. So think about what could be the right size for your short-term goals. Even the booklet, to read the booklet. Don't try to read the booklet, the whole booklet, 50 pages in just one day. Read 1 chapter, try to understand very well, make some notes, then do something else. The other day, you go and read the booklet, the other part, and then, because 50 pages, especially when it comes to the competencies, the reading is a bit dense and very technical. So perhaps it's a good idea to not really read everything in one go because you can get some mental stress. So you can be tired. All right. And I'm going to share with you, because procrastination is about motivation. Procrastination is about action. You need to, motivation is a motive for action. So you need to have some motivation. And I'm going to share with you this short story from Leila. She's a civil engineer in Tasmania. She was validated in January 2020. It's just going to be 1 minute and 18 seconds. And she's going to talk a little bit about her journey during the validation process.
Eu assim, com todo o material que tu fornece, com os encontros, aquilo tudo, eu me senti assim, super preparada, que eu tinha tudo que eu precisava para começar. Então, eu só precisava realmente sentar e fazer, sabe? Foi essa sensação, porque antes eu sentava, olhava e não sabia nem por onde começar. Então, assim, o teu material me ajudou assim, muito, porque eu sabia, eu tive aquela tranquilidade assim, agora é só sentar e fazer, que não é uma coisa fácil. Não. Precisa de várias horas, precisa de dedicação, você precisa abrir mão de várias coisas, de estar com a família, de passear, de fazer outras coisas, e até mesmo de trabalhar. para fazer isso. Mas eu sentia que eu tinha todos os recursos. Então, e tinha material gravado, os slides que eu podia passar, repassar, voltar. Tinha vários exemplos ali enquanto eu participava das aulas, daquelas 3 que a gente fez. Eu ia anotando, já ia tendo dicas, assim, ideias de como que eu ia justificar endereçar então cada requisito. Então aquilo ali eu já tinha tudo material, já estava com as ideias muito frescas e tinha todo o suporte do teu material.
Legal.
Então foi muito mais fácil.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, so really, as she said, Leila said, and thanks, Leila, it needs dedication, it needs time. You will, as she said, sometimes have to decline a shift. I know that's difficult, I can do an extra shift and make 100, 200 bucks, etc. But again, it's a matter of priority. If you really, really need the money, obviously then go and work your shift. But if you really, really want to become an engineer and you don't really need much that money, would be nice to get that money. But if you can dedicate time to your validation, perhaps you need to decline that shift and work in your validation. Okay, we're almost there, guys. So as I said, you can send your question to be answered during the workshop in the workshop website. I will put here in the Telegram group the address. So workshop.com. So if you want to access that, you can. And I'm going to copy and paste in the YouTube as well, and Facebook and Instagram. There's some people, they are watching there. And if you have any question, you can actually type in the comments. We'll be opening for questions very, very soon. All right, so yeah, you're more than welcome to write your comments, suggestions in the comments there in the webpage. And don't forget that tomorrow in my Instagram, I will be posting a couple of questions about video number 1 and video number 2. And obviously for video number 2, I have to wait until Wednesday to be able to answer. But do answer the question on video number 1 tomorrow, and then answer the question on Wednesday, because then on Thursday during the live Instagram session, I'm going to do a draw, sorteio, and I will give away 15 minutes of free consulting on the spot to be done on Thursday after Marcia and myself, we share our content. I'll choose somebody from the audience to share the question or the situation or the experience with me. Okay. Yeah, so for today, it's all I had with you guys. If you have any question, you're more than welcome to write your question in the comments, or you can turn on your microphone and then send me the question. So don't forget that tonight, 8:30 p.m., we're going to have the live session on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We're going to talk about the biggest fears when starting the validation process. And also Mara Reifman, she's going to talk about everything about translation. And then tomorrow, Monday, Brisbane time, I'm going to send you the email with the link for the video number 1. So please check your email inbox. All right, any question there?
Tonight, 8:30 Brisbane time?
Brisbane time, yes. So it's going to be 8:30 p.m. Brisbane time. It's going to be 9:30 p.m. Sydney and Melbourne time. And those ones in Brazil, it's going to be early. Sorry, it will be Sunday, 7:30 a.m. Brasilia time. So, yeah. So, Luis, you are in Brisbane, of course. I know you. The other ones, you probably told me already on Friday, but I'm very bad with with my memory. So the other ones, where are you? Where are you? Lucas in Brazil. Yeah, he said that he's in Brazil.
Yeah, I'm in Brazil, in Uberaba, Minas Gerais.
Uberaba, Minas Gerais. Yeah.
And I studied in Paraná as well, but I graduated from electrical engineering at the Technological University of Paraná, campus Pato Branco.
Ah, nice. Pato Branco, yeah.
It was the previous Cefet.
Cefet, yes. Wow, good. Very good.
I have some questions, like not about the workshop. I think you explained very well. I'm just, I'm not very, it's not very clear for me yet. When are you explaining like the step by step in the process? Will you explain it on the live session?
Yeah. In the video number 1 tomorrow, in the video, I will explain the 6 steps. So the 6 steps will be in video number 1 tomorrow. Yeah. The workshop is the workshop is a series of events that starts today and finishes next Sunday. So because it's a lot of content, I can't explain everything in just one go. People will be sleeping or So
you're right.
So almost every day there is a little bit of information, so you have time to digest, you have time to understand, you have time to maybe watch a replay, so you can really understand the content. So tomorrow's video is when I'm going to talk about the different ways you can validate as an overseas engineer. But I can tell you, you're from Brazil, you're going to go through a CDR process, pathway number 5. And then for the CDR process, there are 6 steps that I am explaining in tomorrow's video.
Okay, so be tuned. And if I have any doubts on the last day, I'll be sure to talk to you.
Yes, of course. In the last day, next Sunday, I will be reviewing the whole process. I will have question and answer sessions as well. So yeah, you can ask questions, etc. And I will be explaining as well how the mentoring program is going to work for those ones that are interested to participate and do it a little bit quicker.
Thank you.
So, sorry, I have a question.
Yes, Anna?
It's not clear to me what's the difference between registration and membership.
Yes. Okay, good. Very good question, Anna. Stage 1, or the first step of the validation, obviously, is to recognize your bachelor degree if you are doing for professional engineers. And I'm assuming that you're all going to do the professional engineer, because there are 3 categories: the professional engineer, the engineering technologist, and the engineering associate, which is like technician. So to recognize the qualification, you can do with migration purpose, which is the MSA, Migration Skills Assessment, or stage 1 of membership eligibility. So, but let's assume that it's all the same, because they're very similar. So this is to recognize your qualification, where Engineers Australia will say that according to your course and according to the competencies and skills that you demonstrated in your application, your bachelor degree is recognized being similar to an Australian bachelor degree. So this is your validation. And that's done by Engineers Australia. But when you get your validation, it doesn't mean that you are a member of Engineers Australia. You get your validation. For you to become a member of Engineers Australia, you will need to apply for membership. So once you get your validation, then you gotta fill a different form and send your membership application to Engineers Australia. You have to pay annual fee, and then if Engineers Australia accepts you, you become a member of Engineers Australia. So that is your membership. In different, and then registration is the next stage. Which state are you, Anna? Sorry.
Sydney, New South Wales.
All right, so you are in New South Wales. New South Wales and Victoria in 2021, from 1 July 2021, they started a registration scheme. So registration is mandatory in New South Wales and Victoria now. Because they started last year, there is a transition period that, and it's not for all engineers, mainly for the building industry and for civil, electrical, structural, mechanical, and fire safety, if I'm not wrong. So it's not all engineers.
Sorry. I'm a chemical engineer. Do you think I need to do it?
Yeah, I don't think now that a chemical engineers are included.
Most of job opportunities I'm applying for are related to health safety and environment compliance. So I'm not sure if I still have to get this register or
probably not yet. I know that New South Wales and Victoria, because they just started the registration scheme last year, they are now in this transition phase. So more other types of engineering fields will be added to the registration scheme. In Queensland, for example, the registration scheme has already 90 years. So 90, it started long time ago. So the registration is very comprehensive. And for you to provide professional engineering services, let's say that you want to design a bridge. If you want to design a bridge here in Queensland, you need to be a registered professional engineer of Queensland. Or if you're not, you need to be directly supervised by RPEQ. But in your case, you're a chemical engineer. I don't believe chemical engineers, they are mandatory now. It could be in the future. It would be a good idea.
It's better be ready.
Yeah, it's better to be ready, because when it's ready, when it's mandatory, probably when you're applying for a job, they will be asking that you need to be registered. And you cannot be registered if you're not validated, because you need to validate first and then register after. So, and because it takes some time, let's say that in July this year, they decide to include chemical engineering. And then you're not validated. So then you need to work in your validation process. Engineers Australia is taking a few months until they do the assessment. You will take some time until you finish everything. You'll take at least 6 months until you get your validation. And then to be registered, you need to get your CPH. That will take some more time as well. So it can take a year or two until you become registered. And then it's a time that if companies started to ask just for registered chemical engineers, your chances to get a job will be very difficult. So that's why I encourage everybody to work don't stop with the validation. Get your validation and then keep working in the registration process.
Do you offer any mentoring programs to register as well for registration, or just for validation?
At the moment, just for validation. A lot of people ask me already for the registration. I'm considering to put together a mentoring program for the registration as well. But again, it's a matter of priority, because I'll say that I don't have time, because I work already full time, and then I got priorities with this project that I'm doing, and then priorities with my family, with the house and everything else. So I really want to do something for the registration, but I need to finish few priorities first, so I can then start with a new project. But it is in my mind to do that, because once registration starts becoming mandatory for more types of engineering, and I believe that I can help with registration, a lot of people not going to get jobs because they not registered. Yeah, that's why I became registered as soon as I could, because nowadays here in Queensland, when you open a job advertisement, majority of them, they are asking for RPQ engineers. And if you are a registered professional engineer of Queensland here in Queensland, you're not going to be unemployed. You will have a job, because I know many friends that they call me, Gerson, you know lots of engineers. Do you know any RPQ? Companies are hiring RPQ engineers, you know? Yeah, RPQ engineers are not going to be without work. Yeah.
And do you know who is responsible for this registration process here in New South Wales? If I decide to do by myself.
Yeah, I think there was one of the departments. Quickly.
If you don't know, there's no problem. I can send a message and.
No, it's fairly easy. It's I'll share this one.
I'm very happy because until now I didn't know that there was a difference between validation and registration. I thought about the same.
Yes, there is.
I'm happy now. I know it's different.
Yeah. So this site here, Service New South Wales, apply for professional engineer registration. So yeah, you probably can find all the information here. So civil, electrical, geotechnical, mechanical, structural, fire safety. So these 6, they already included geotechnical. Geotechnical wasn't in the beginning. So they are including more types of engineering. So yes. So you need to.
No, thank you for.
No, that's okay. Yeah. Very important for you guys. Don't stop with the validation. Keep going with the registration. If you validate, or when you validate and you want to become registered, you know me. You can ask me questions. If I can help, I will. And in the meantime, if I have time to put together some mentoring for the registration, I'll be more than happy to have you guys as my mentees as well.
Okay, thanks so much.
No worries. All right. Any other question? I don't want to hold you guys up too much. All good? All right. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for participating, for your patience, and I hope to see you all tonight, 8:30 p.m. Brisbane time, either in my Instagram profile or in my YouTube channel or in my Facebook page, Engineers in Australia. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.